On December 25th, Christmas Day 2019, an album that I produced for an artist called Toxic was released. Going into the new year, 2020, we talked about how we would do so much. Shows, new music, and some good promotion. I actually finished the year with my music doing better than ever before. When in 2018, I would only get a couple thousand plays on my SoundCloud, I would get close to 15,000 plays in 2019. I was finally starting to see that people I didn't know were actually enjoying my music. That meant in 2020, I would have to do a lot more. Well, that was until I had to adjust my plans a little bit. Mostly because of a worldwide pandemic that affected all of us. So that means that my year had to revolve around it. But that wasn't going to stop me. While everything has been going on, I actually saw an increase in my numbers. I got over 91,000 plays in a year, which was absolutely insane to me. My YouTube channel also received an incredible 35,000 views, which I am beyond thankful for. I would not be making this video if it wasn't for you. 2020 was also the year I focused on making short films. I have actually been making videos since 2013, and I figured I should put more effort into it after the year before I entered the 48-hour film project with some friends, and we made a silly little fantasy film. So, I wrote and directed a short film called The Family, which I started in August and didn't put out until October. Why the long wait? Well, this happened. This was such an awful blow to me and my fiance at the time. And I actually lost my camera equipment in an accident as well. I felt stuck. I felt defeated. But luckily we had people looking out for us who helped us get back on our feet. The other thing that delayed the project was, well, this. On September 27th, I married my best friend. That will always be the highlight of this year for me. So, after all of that, I finally released The Family, and I was happy with the reception it received. It's not the best thing ever, but I did it. I put it out there. The thing that officially ended the year for me was finishing Toxic's second album just in time for another Christmas release. And if you guys could, please go check out his music. I produce everything, and it would mean a lot to him and myself if you guys would check it out. So, why am I telling you all of this? Well, I want you to know that if you've ever heard someone telling you to never give up and to reach for the stars, just know that they're not full of shit. Never give up. Even when your plans have to change drastically because of something out of your control. Move forward, even if you feel like what you left behind is not something you can walk away from. Reach for the stars, even if it seems like nobody cares about what you are doing at all. If it's important to you, make it happen.
When the stores all open and the rain falls down, when everybody's careless or no one can be found, at least you'll notice why, and don't pretend to be surprised. 'Cause life's too short to fantasize, and I'm too cold to compromise.
To finish off the video here as a little bit of a bonus, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a Q&A. The last video I put out was saying, if you guys have any questions for me, I will go ahead and answer those. So now, if you guys have any additional questions for me after this video, go ahead and ask, and I will answer. The first question I have here is from G Beast Big Daddy. When did you get into making music? Back when I was a freshman in high school, I got my first electric guitar. My grandpa got it for me because he knew that I was interested in making music. About a year later, I realized I could connect the USB microphone from the Rock Band game for the Wii into the computer, so that meant I can actually record, different guitar parts and little drum parts for my keyboard to make a song. And here's actually the first song I ever recorded. So that's how I started. It wasn't until 2013 when I started working with GarageBand and getting a little bit more serious about music production, learning about what it takes. This question is from Wayfaring Groban, who says, "Who are your top artists that inspired you?" Well, that's a good question, because I would say the artists that inspired me to make music were, hard rock and heavy metal bands from the 70s and 80s. Some of my favorite bands were AC/DC, Twisted Sister, the Beatles. Some of the artists that inspired me to make the music that I'm more known for today are people like Dr. Dre with NWA, a lot of hip-hop artists. I just love the hip-hop sound. It's funny to me because I come from a rock background. My mom was in a rock band, and I played rock guitar for so long, and punk music too. I really like punk. So, a lot of those kind of artists inspire me, and they still do. I still really like that music, and, on the side, I like to play and try to record that stuff too, even though, that stuff is not released. So I would say, those are the artists that inspired me. The next question is from Evan YT, who says, "How do you make your music, and what was your inspiration? Oh, and can you do your Sweden cover for 1 hour?" I'll get back to the Sweden question in a bit. So the way I make music right now is I use the program called GarageBand. I know, it's a free program you can get from Apple, but that's what I use. And I've used it for a long time, since 2013, so I think I have a pretty good grasp on it, and I'm able to make some pretty good stuff with it, if I say so myself. And then what was my inspiration? Making music, recording music, I don't know which exactly, so I guess I'll just answer both. Like I said before, I was inspired by certain bands. That's what inspired me to even pick up a guitar, to learn how to play. And what inspired me to record music was just something I thought was cool. I thought it was really cool that I can get a microphone and a free program, and I can record all these different parts all from me, and it was an actual song. Chris asks, 1, how many instruments do you play? 2, how'd you get into remixing and making music? And 3, are there things in particular about a subject that you think about when remixing something? For example, any of your Minecraft remixes, was there anything in the game itself that influenced how you remixed it? As far as how many instruments you play, I would say maybe about 10 or 11, which ranges from different kinds of stringed instruments like guitars, dulcimers, banjos, ukuleles, bass guitars, which also goes into pianos and flutes and percussion instruments. I got into remixing after I really got into hip-hop music, and the first remix that I ever made was actually the Minecraft remix that I'm really known for. I put it together pretty quickly in GarageBand, just messing around, and I thought it was really cool. And I actually did that way back in 2016, so it took me another couple years before I even made that public. As for the third question, I guess with Minecraft, I played it so much in 2012, 2013. it was just a really enjoyable experience, and part of that is just the incredible soundtrack by C418. And of course, one of my favorite songs was Mice on Venus, which is the song that I remixed for my Minecraft remix. I just really love those songs so much, and I wanted to be able to expand on it. Any of the remixes I do is always a love letter to that original song. The next question is from Micah Kinton. Why do you make beats, and what is your origin story, your background? Why do I make beats? Well, because I love to make music. I like to sit there and get lost in music and just see what I can create. Sometimes I try to make something and it just doesn't work right. Other times I make something and it just gets me going. My origin story, well, I mean, I'll tell you what, I would love to do my origin story as long as there is a want for it, I suppose. If you guys want me to tell a little bit more about my past, I would love to do so. It's a longer story, so I don't want to get into making this video too long. So if you guys want me to do my origin story, just let me know and I'll think about doing it. And then lastly, Dr. Pepsi Man asked me if I could release a 1-hour version of my Minecraft remix. So, and also going back to the person who asked me about the Sweden remix, I'm just gonna do this. And that does it. Thank you so much for the questions. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you made it all the way to the end, just know that I appreciate you so much. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you've engaged with my music and that you've given me such an incredible year. I look forward to 2021 and I look forward to learning a little bit more about you guys as well. So please, I hope you have a safe and happy new year.